Hi, have you ever wondered why the fuss about instructional design? Why would you need to follow a process in order to deliver a course and maybe design and create courses that you can market either online or face to face? Well, today we're going to talk about it, and we hope that this video is helpful for you. My name is Max Quiroz from Max and Ruth Training, and today we're going to talk about 3 instructional design strategies that you really must know now. Now, if you haven't done so, please click on the button and the big red button that you see on your YouTube screen so that you can subscribe to our channel. Also, activate the notification bell and like and comment any video that you like in our channel. You must subscribe so that you get notified whenever we upload any new video or new materials to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about 3 instructional design strategies that you must know now, right now, not tomorrow, now. And let's start by talking about what are instructional design strategies. And instructional design strategies are a framework that allows us course designers and instructors to follow a logical sequence to design different activities and different contents that will be included in a course so that our student, the knowledge that our student attains is maximized, and they live a wonderful and enjoyable experience while learning, because this is very true. Many learning situations are boring, people feel attacked by the teacher or the instructor, so we want to make our learning experience something that is unforgettable, or as we like to say, a life-changing learning experience. And that's the first thing that we must understand. It's not the same thing to dump the content and hope that the student will understand and that the student will learn something from the contents that we just dumped there. No, it's very different when we have a sequence of events, a sequence of activities that help organize that learning experience so that the student can follow all the lessons and the sequence and the learning process in an easier way. And that's what instructional design strategies are those elements, those tools that allow us to plan our courses in a logical and very structured way. There's lots of talk about what's the difference between instructional design and learning experience design. Well, instructional design has to do with how the instructor conveys the educational contents to the student, while the learning experience design has to do or deals with how the students acquire that knowledge in a learning experience. Now, it's not either or. They're not enemies, they're not antagonists. They are complementary. That means when we do instructional design, we also do learning experience design, because part of instructional design are learning experiences that we must design in order for our student to acquire, to get that knowledge, to internalize that knowledge and to make it their own. And that's why we have to design also learning experiences. So it's not do one or do the other. We do both, and they are complementary, and this is very important. Why do we use instructional design? Basically, to have a structure, to follow a certain structure that allows us to transfer knowledge and that the student acquires that knowledge and can apply that knowledge in a different context, in a different situation, and also so that he can have a framework that makes that learning process easier for him. That's why we use instructional design strategies, so that we have a framework to design everything in order for the student to be able to transfer that knowledge and to have a meaningful and learning experience where he can have some structure, some logical steps that he can follow in order for him to be successful and achieve the learning objectives. What are the advantages of using instructional design strategies? First of all, it simplifies and speeds the learning process. Whenever you have a well-designed sequence of learning events, the process is faster and it's simplified by all this, instead of going from one step to another and returning, and it's a logical sequence of events that the student can follow. That's advantage number one. The other advantage is that a student maximizes knowledge retention, and that's another very important thing. And finally, he has this logical structure that provides guidance for him to learn and to continue acquiring new knowledge. So those are the advantages of using learning instructional design strategies, so that he can engage better with the content, retain that content, and transfer that content in a simple and faster way so that he can maximize his learning opportunities. Now, there are three main theories that support instructional design. And the first of these theories is what we know as the ADDI or 5-step model. And the ADDI model gets its name for the initials of the words of each of the 5 steps. And if you want to learn more about this, we have a video. Click on the link that you see on your screen right now to go to that video so that you can learn more about the ADDI model of instructional design. And the first step, so I won't go into full detail on the ADDI model so that we can go to the other theories that back up instructional design. The first step is analyze. You have to analyze the situation, define what are the learning needs of the audience, of the target population, define what problems you're going to solve through your course in order for you to design everything. And that's step number 2, that design step. In this step, you establish your learning objectives. You say what your students are going to achieve after your course, what they will be able to do, and what contents must you include for them to achieve those learning objectives. Once you do this, you go on to the next step, step number 3, develop. In this step, you develop all the contents, all the activities, and all this. You expand the sequence that you defined in the previous step so that you have everything in place. You can even do a beta program so that you can test a pilot test of how the program is working, and then make any adjustments that you need before going to the next step, that is the implementation step. And in that step, you deliver your course to the full group, and then while you're delivering, you're also gathering information about how everything's working, because the 5th step is evaluating. Evaluate the program, see what worked, what didn't work, if the students achieved the learning objectives, and then After you evaluate, you return to step number 2 and you tweak anything that you need to tweak, you redesign, you develop, and then you implement again, and you again evaluate, so that this is a virtuous circle, like the quality circle, where you plan, do, measure, evaluate, adjust, and repeat. And that's how we can make our courses better every time. That's strategy theory number 1. The second theory that supports instructional design is Bloom's taxonomy, and in this taxonomy, in this theory, Bloom states 6 learning stages, 6 stages of learning, and the ideal is that the student goes through all these 6 stages, and each one is higher than the one before. The first stage, the participants must remember some previous knowledge. It's very important to start here. So they should be able to remember previous knowledge and what they learned in this course or training session. Then they must understand. After remembering, they must be able to understand what is happening, what they're learning, because the next step, the step number 3, has to do with applying. They must apply the new knowledge to different situations, to different contexts, in different activities, so that they really internalize that knowledge or that new skills that they've just learned. Step number 4 is analysis, and they should be able to analyze different situations, different information, use critical thinking in order to gather different information, what is helpful, what they learn, how they can use something, because step number 5 is evaluation. And in that step, they must be able to evaluate, once again, using critical thinking and that analysis of information they did in the previous step, so that they can evaluate different problems, get to solutions, and then after they cover that step, they can move on to the 6th step, and that one is create. They should be able to create, and this is where transfer of knowledge really occurs, because whenever somebody creates something new, they're transferring previous knowledge that they have acquired to a different context, a different situation, and that's the highest stage in Bloom's taxonomy. So that's stage number 6, and that's the second theory that supports instructional design strategies, Bloom's taxonomy. And finally, we have Gagné's 9 events of instruction. And Robert Gagné was an educational researcher, American educational researcher, and he established 9 events of instruction that you must carry out in order for the student to acquire new knowledge. And the first thing he says, the first event, is get the students' or participants' attention. Because if you don't have their attention, they won't be able to engage with your content. They won't be able to immerse in the content that you have prepared for them. So the first event of instruction is get the students' attention. After you have their attention, you go to event number 2. And here you establish and let the student know what are the learning objectives that you are expecting them to achieve after your program or course. So this is very important, because you have to establish clear and well-defined objectives so that they know what to expect from your program. After you've established the learning objectives, you move to event number 3, where you you, through activities, through questions, through different events of instruction, you allow the participant to recall previous knowledge. And this is very important, especially with adults, when we're working with adults, because you have to go back to your backpack of previous knowledge and see, oh, this is like this that I already know. And oh yes, it's like this, so I can add it to this kind of knowledge. And that's the way we can start building new knowledge. And that's why it's so important to recall previous knowledge. The fourth step is presenting the lesson content. And this is a really instructional event where the instructor, through different media, is able to present the lesson content. And it can be a presentation, it can be a video, an audio, simulation, whatever instructional technique you can imagine. You can use those in order to present the content of the determined lesson, of any lesson in particular. The fifth event that Gagné established is you have to guide the learning experience. Participants need guidance, and you can do this through different activities, through worksheets, through texts, through simulations, small group work, so that the participants feel that they're not alone in this learning process, that there's somebody there to guide them in this process where they are acquiring new knowledge. And this is very important, because step number 6, or event number 6, is you must encourage the participant to independent performance. They have to do things by themselves, and they need that previous guidance, that support, that they're not alone, because now they must show that they know something new, that they know how to do something new. They acquire new skills, and they must show it, demonstrate that knowledge or those new skills. And after they demonstrate and this independent performance, step number 7 is you must provide feedback. And feedback is so important for student learning. There's a wonderful phrase that says, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And that's exactly right. If you want to build champions in any discipline, you must provide them feedback. And that's what happens in early learning situation. If you want your participants to really learn, give them feedback. Provide good and nurturing feedback so that they can learn more, so that they can grow and they can do better each time. Step number 8 is evaluating or assessing performance. And here is where you evaluate if the learning objectives have been met, if really everything has worked, if the participants have learned, if the activities have worked, if everything is working okay, in order for the participants to acquire that knowledge, to achieve those learning objectives, and for you to achieve the goals that you wanted through the course. And event number 9 has to do with transferring that knowledge, that newly acquired knowledge, into new context, into different situations, and so that we can ensure that the participants is retaining that newly acquired knowledge and can transfer it to different situations and contexts. So these are the instructional design strategies that you must know right now. 3 very important theories that support instructional design the ADDI Model, Bloom's Taxonomy, and Gagné's 9 events of instruction. Remember, if you want to learn more about any of these topics, or if you want to learn how to integrate all these aspects and many more into your course, your program, be proactive and schedule a free discovery call with us where we can talk about how you can integrate this and many other aspects into your courses. It's a totally free call, no compromise. You don't have to buy anything. Really, we just want to help you integrate and learn new things. So if you want to do that, click on the link that you see on your screen or the link that is on the description of this video, and we would love to see you there and talk directly with you. We really hope that this video is helpful for you. See you in the next one, and have a great day.